This program is brought to you by Emory University.
Call upon me, for I am the Black Jaguar. It is me you must invoke if you wish to scare the illness away. It's part of a quote from a Brazilian shaman. Shamanism is the world's oldest religious complex. It underlies the institutionalized religions. It is based on having a charismatic intermediary with the divine, a person who is willing to go into a visionary state and visit the powers beyond the human or terrestrial realm. My name is Rebecca Stone. I'm a professor in the Art History Department, and I am the faculty curator of Art of the Americas here at the Michael C. Carlos Museum. We start the show with two images of black jaguars that are combined with humans in order to illustrate this point, that the shaman transforms into his or her jaguar self. The animal self is at the basis of shamanism, that you are capable of changing your state of being, that anything is in flux between one state and another state. So in the art, you see they're black, of course. The black-ware ceramics are used to characterize black jaguars, which obviously exist in nature. But they're standing upright in this case, of this piece, with a cat head and a human body, or in this one that looks more exactly like a cat, the eyes are nevertheless human eyes. They're almond-shaped. Throughout the ancient Americas, we have images of the shaman and their animal self united in one single work of art. This is one of our best pieces in the museum collection. It's an early Maya piece, about 250 AD, and on one side it shows, again, a jaguar, but sitting in a human position, joined head to head with the human side. The two together are the epitome of this concept of the animal on your other side. Doing research on our collection, I discovered something very interesting, which is an animal self, which is a whale shark. And as you know, if you're here in Georgia, we have whale sharks at the Georgia Aquarium. And I was sitting at my desk working on this piece. She's a figure with white spots on a brown background. She has concentric eyes and short arms and a blocky head. And I was thinking, what kind of animal could this be? And I Googled spotted shark, and I got a picture of a whale shark right 4 miles from my desk downtown in Georgia at the aquarium. The features that are so important to notice on her are that she has a painted mouth all the way across her jaw with tiny serrated teeth. It overlaps her human mouth, which is a very sort of feminine modeled mouth. So the top of her whale shark mouth and the bottom of her human mouth are united. It's another way, like the other figures, of bringing together and conflating the human self and the animal self. The white spots are very characteristic on the dark ground. The oval eyes, the square head, all the short arms, and even on the back, she has a white line where she doesn't have any spots. And I was talking to a whale shark specialist, Dr. Bruce Carlson, and he said, well, when you look down on a whale shark, the top edge of their dorsal fin, that fin that comes at you in the water that says shark, is actually white, so that when you look down, you would see a white stripe down the middle of their back. It's that literal that she is a whale shark. The show actually ends with images of how one achieves trance, because this is also an important subject in ancient American art. Since trance is so important, the means to achieve it are also considered important to illustrate. We start with images of people in meditation. So they are sitting with their hands on their knees and sometimes with their legs crossed, like she is in the middle. It's kind of like the lotus position. It is a meditation pose. It's not a neutral sitting position. You can also see that their eyes are slit in these three figures. That's sort of like purposefully closing them. They're not asleep, they're not dead, but they are closing their eyes on purpose. And shamans tell us that the visions of the other side are clearer with your eyes closed, because visionary state is a dual consciousness. That means you're not unconscious. You know what's going on to a degree in the terrestrial world, and you're also seeing things from what is interpreted as other realms. But when you close your eyes, you can clarify the relationship between the two worlds. Another important aspect is that men and women become shamans almost equally. In this case, we have 2 men and a woman. And shamanism is gender equal because it's a calling. You can't say, I want to be a shaman. It happens to you, so that it may happen to a woman or to a man, that they have the dreams that come true, or they spontaneously heal someone with their hands, or any other extraordinary circumstance that singles them out. So you can see that it's also a high status thing. She's wearing a gold and copper nose ring. She's wearing real jewelry, this effigy or this image of a person. It's a high status occupation. It's also achieved not only by just sitting and meditating, but by fasting. So the figure over here on the right, this man with a very prominent vertebrae, represents the idea that if you deplete your body of food, you also move into the same kinds of visions as if you do other things to achieve them. There are many ways to achieve trance. Dancing, singing rhythmically for hours will put you into a trance. And also ingesting substances, which in the Americas are considered to be sacred substances and plant teachers, and they are a sacrament. And the rest of the gallery has to do with some of these important plants. In this case, we have images of a sacred plant which has the Latin name of Anadananthera. We'll use the Inca word for this plant since it's easier to say. Vilca is what the Inca called it, the great empire of South America in the 14th and 15th and 16th centuries. We have a piece here in the back that's called a pacha. That means a waterfall in the Quechua language. That's what it translates as. It's something to water the cornfields. You can see a small ear of corn, a miniature vessel to hold corn beer, and a pointed hooked element which is of man's foot plow to actually punch a hole into the ground and plant the seeds of corn. So in one sense, this is simply a juxtaposition of a successful cycle of growing corn. However, we continue to do more and more research on these pieces, and the decoration on the small vessel that's the same as the decoration on this more full-size one that you see here has a sprouting element that ends in balls. And that's not a representation of corn. We think it's a representation of the vilca, which is a fern-like plant. It's in the acacia family, and each of its leaves comes off in this exact manner, and the flower is radiating, and the end of each flower, the tip of each petal, turns into a circle. So that's how we are now identifying this pattern. And in fact, the Spanish wrote down a few sentences that are very helpful to us in their chronicles. They said that the Inca used vilca and put it into their corn beer for special occasions, for special rituals. And when they did that, they saw snakes and they spoke wildly, and all kinds of indications that are very similar to what shamans talk about today, seeing snakes and speaking in strange ways through the experience of adding a plant to another beverage. There are over 100 plants in the Americas naturally occurring that cause visions. These are considered to be plant teachers. They're considered to be catalysts for trance, not that they give you visions, but that they open you to other parts, other realms. So they are honored and special. They are sacraments. And for example, peyote is a sacrament in the Native American church. So we are presenting our pieces that have to do with these sacred plants in a manner that honors the Native American point of view towards them. The pieces in this exhibition are pulled from the permanent collection of Emery, and we're very pleased. We have over 115 pieces in the show. The show is open through January 5th of 2013.
preceding program is copyrighted by Emory University.